Striking image, not the news, them a feel views. Hey, suck your mother.
And subscriber, wagwan. Welcome back to another brand new reasoning. As me I say, I'm there with VybzKartel lawyer Isat Buchanan. And recently in the one interview about last year on CVM TV, and you don't know me, I watch it back and me I say, you know, so if you make me people them see what I go on. You see me I say, and him basically man I cry brother if you get the youth them and I say, yo, more while you youth they not have it, if you get a lawyer. And when he see a mother come to him and take out a look of $60,000 and give her people, I know no don't want to miss it, and him talk about VybzKartel case same here in it. But you know what me I go do, me I go left with the full video and me can watch it and see what I go on. You see me as a people. But if you just are to the channel, please me I beg if you click that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a share.
To say this, when it comes to, if you know what it is when a woman who, she doesn't have $80,000, you know, never in her life does she has $80,000. I might cry now, because let me tell you something. When you're in the court and a woman comes to you and she puts her hand in her chest and she says, help my son. He's not a criminal and he's locked up. And this case doesn't go beyond a bail application because they're going to throw it out. But that's the power that they wield. But the fact that this woman, she has to move mountains to get, and it's a long process to take her child out of the hands of Babylon, that's what I'm going to call it. And there's no apology. And when he's released, you hear on the TV, the Minister of National Security says, we have intelligence that he's a violence contributor. So I'm going to lock him up at my pleasure because him is a troublemaker. They turn him into that first when they arrest him falsely and take money that the mother never had in her life, but she go beg it and she seek help. And then people, our Jamaicans say, why are you begging? But she has to save our son. This is the story of the ghetto black woman with her many amount of children that they say she shouldn't have. But if these women don't have their 9, 10 kids, we won't have the boat. We won't have the Bob Marley. We won't have the greatness, because the greatness, like my father, is ghetto them come from.
And adversity.
Yeah. And the measure of a man, you know, is when he's tried in adversity, when he overcomes the challenges of life, because God, the God I serve, never give you more than you can bear.
So we move now to the case with VybzKartel.
Yes.
And you are now the attorney that will take care of Privy Council.
Yes.
For him. How and why?
How and why?
Yes.
I would probably say that experience and understanding what it is to be locked up, understanding the strength and the mindset, the mental strength that you need to have to be able to be patient and know that your human rights were violated. VybzKartel, Adidja Palmer, who is before the court legally, his constitutional rights were trampled on. And I will say this, the average Jamaican should be very afraid in terms of what happened to VybzKartel in his trial and his co-accused. And I'm talking legally.
What you mean?
So the safeguards of the Constitution says, no matter what happens, your constitutional rights are absolute, including your right to privacy, including your right to be protected by the court. When your right to privacy, your right to due process, you are cloaked in the presumption of innocence when you're brought before the court. Doesn't matter what the media says, doesn't matter what you hear and all the inflamed things that we hear about in his case. The reality is this: the manner in which it was put there, it was illegal, it was a breach, and evidence was allowed to be put in there. Suspect evidence, evidence that was tampered with. And so, to answer your question as to why me, I'm a human rights attorney. So if anybody thinks I'm on the VybzKartel case, apart from being a fan of VybzKartel, because of the criminal aspect of it, no. Every litigation, strategic on my part, is for the protection of human rights for all. So,
outside of that, do you believe that if he actually committed, participated in the murder, that he should pay for it?
If he did that, then justice must be served. A mother, I start there all the time, lost her child. And it happens every day in this country, all the time. The injustices by, a woman who gets the call that her son is murdered. And the murderers, they must be brought to justice. But the thing about it is, they're alleged murderers. And the justice, what we speak of, if we believe it, it must be absolute. And when I say absolute, beyond a reasonable doubt, so that the evidence that's brought before the court must be able to actually bring justice. It cannot be that we input our biases and our opinions of, because we don't appreciate the slackness and the filth that comes out of Kartel's mouth, that we say that he is that. And since I've been in the case, I've seen the filth even towards me on social media. But my back is firm.
There are a number of Jamaicans, both here and diaspora, who believe that no one incarcerated should be allowed to make music and profit from same. What do the laws say about that?
First of all, there was not a judgment the judge did not say that he is not to do that. Ironically, if you remember Jacquior, he recorded from in prison. There is a program in prison where they record and they put out the music. And so in terms of, this is one of the things that's interesting, because that position that was taken is a bad mind position. And here's why I said this. Kartel is a national treasure. He is dancehall's lifeline. He has money, and I say this to substantiate my position. He has remained relevant, notwithstanding he did not have to go on a stage. He has been current, and his music transforms with the time. It transcends the time. You can't no one can deny that. It's not taking away from those who are free and able and irrelevant. And COVID shut down the place, so you don't have no money to pay all us, so you're irrelevant. Not my fault, but certainly I would say this, that Jamaica, peculiar to Jamaica, what we must understand, the musicians are closely related to tourism. It is our lifeline, our product. When you have Sunfest and when you have all of these shows, that's a part of tourism. And so if Kartel, the artist I'm speaking of right now, he is a part of the attraction that brings people to Jamaica. No one can deny that. And he has kids. He has a family. He has a mother. He has a father. Just like how Bob Marley is dead, but his music is the most relevant. so that people who are alive and might as well have been dead.
Are able to know and still see who
Yes.
Bob Marley is. Let me ask you this, in terms of the power and the reach of dance hall music,
Yes.
do you believe that it is as much as reggae music? How powerful is the dance hall genre as opposed to the reggae genre?
No, so here's the reality. Reggae is the genre. Those who want to get the accolade from the Grammys and anything, whether you're a dancer or not, you have to make the quality of music in line, and it has to come back to the feel of reggae. Reggae is a particular feel, separate and apart from dancehall. You can't conflate the two. So the future of Jamaican music going out of COVID, I will start by saying that the artists, they had time to reflect. The contribution that they're going to make, it cannot be in a hostile space, and certainly they must be authentic, they must be original, and you must stop trying to be American. Go learn the music. I know not everybody have the father. I would say that, but I mean, if you are doing dancehall and the only place you stop is Kartel, you don't know your history. Because though I'm saying he's an